What is up, everybody? Nick Legostava here, about to be comparing and talking about two Cheetor figures, the War for Cybertron Kingdom Cheetor and the Transformers exclusive Walmart Red Cheetor. Now, both of these Cheetors are on the shelf at the same time, so I'm here to compare them and talk about a few caveats to each. Now, you'll notice that my Kingdom Cheetor has a pistol. He does not come with this, but he should. He should come with that, but he doesn't. But this is a 3D printed one I will have for sale relatively soon. I know it's supposed to have the cheetah dots on the bottom. I just haven't found a good way to do that. I want to do it right and not mess it up. But, you know, that's painted up with some gold and pink accents for the brain on the back, which the Transformers Red one doesn't even have the brain details on the back how it's supposed to be. So that's a little bit of a but this doesn't even come with it at all. That had to be made separately. So this has it, naturally. But one transforms and one does not transform. So, yeah. But they're on the shelf at the same time. So what if somebody gets confused, somebody that doesn't know about Transformers really, and they're like, well, they want Cheetor, but then they're on the shelf at the same time, so it could be a little confusing to those people that don't know about it. Cheetor does not want to stand. These are a little loose on mine. I never did an actual review for them because I wanted to wait to do this comparison video. And then the Red Cheetor comes with blast effects and a few extra attachments. Let's see. I don't have his extra attachments, but I have his blast effects in here. I just put them in the bag that I use for all my blast effects. So these go on his weapon. But it's kind of strange that they did the blast effects different for the Red series. You can't really use these on regular blast effect things, which is kind of stupid. I wish that they kind of did that to where you could use it with either or, but they did what they did. So yeah, let's pop that off. But articulation is actually pretty rivaled with each of these, considering that one transforms and one doesn't transform. This looks like more of the masterpiece. I think that they did the head crest and the bronze parts are too dark. I think those should have been gold to be more screen accurate, because it was usually like brighter, the lighting that they used in the CGI. It might have been this color on the model, but it looked more gold and stuff as I knock him over. But yeah, just comparing the two, I mean, they stack up pretty well, besides some of the kibbly bits and hollowness on this guy, which I do have some fillers on the back legs. I tried to get them all to print, but I need to find a better orientation because I kept not sticking, even though everything is leveled perfectly. But I think that this was overpriced for what it was, this deluxe. They hollowed it out so much, and it is tiny, but these are the same price, and one transforms and one doesn't. So it's like, do you want a bit more screen accuracy and not transforming? Sorry about that. It happens. For an actual transforming one that can go with your collection, let's show some size comparisons here. These guys, neither of these guys stand very well. That's something that's negative about both of them. Like, this guy is made of a weird rubbery plastic, parts pop off of him. It is a strange plastic. There's not much actual hard plastic on this guy, and I really think that hurts some of the joints on him. They don't want to stand very well. His feet, he is kind of heavy since it's that rubberized kind of deal. Let's get Optimus Primal in here from Kingdom. So you can see, like, if you got him, he's more modern Voyager class. You know, he's about the same height as Optimus Primal, whereas this looks to be more proper scale. But I mean, if you were only able to get one and you wanted it to be more screen accurate, I mean, I guess if that doesn't bother you, it's not bigger than him, really. I mean, maybe the ears are just a touch taller, but it can work if you really want to push it. But, yeah. And then Rat Trap. I actually meant to pull Optimus Primal away, but none of these guys are wanting to stand very well, especially Cheetors. The Cheetors don't want to stand. But that's what the scale is looking like with other actual transforming figures with the red figure. And I do have a 3D print filler for that. I still want to do some work on it to get rid of these hinges up there. I just put those there for stability. But this tail weapon sucks. There's nowhere to really put it unless you have it in his hand. There's nowhere to have it fly out of my hand off the review table here. There's nowhere to really put it on him, so that just, some people will probably lose that easily if they don't want to have it in his hand at all times. But they could have did a little bit better on this figure. I do think that they could have had more paint apps, especially for this price when you're going to give us this little amount of plastic. More paint apps are needed to counterweigh that, and it really should have came with the rifle. It's abysmal. Let's actually compare the 3D print one and the one that came with the red one. So that's what that's looking like. This is more screen accurate, besides I need to put the spots on the bottom. But this is just, it's in that same copper color. I meant to say copper color, not bronze, but bronze copper, similar. But yeah, the handle is painted. You know, that doesn't really matter when it's in his hand. It would just chip the paint if I did that. But this is better to me. Even though it's 3D printed, it still works really good, especially with that paint on there that covers up the 3D print marks, basically. So it just blends in really well for Cheetor. But I don't like the rubberized stuff of the red. These guys don't stand well. They don't stand well. I keep trying to have them stand and they're just like, let's fall. It's ridiculous. It really is. Like this, I don't know how they ever thought that was going to stand well at all. Maybe if they extended that a little more, it might have looked a little weird, but I mean, at least he would be able to stand. I mean, if he's on a shelf displayed and you're not trying to actually move him around and display him differently than just standing there, or to actually do a review on them or compare them, they'll stand. But they don't. They stand abysmally. And I probably, what is this? I knocked the filler out, so there's still adjustments to be made on the filler kit to get it working properly with this. To make this better, to make this more screen accurate, not only would these be darker colors like they're going to do on the Netflix repaint, which I don't know, I'm so sick of giving them money for repaints that like no one knows was going to come out, and then they just come out right after the regular figure comes out, so then you have to double dip, and I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I could just paint over this if I really wanted to do the darker, which I don't really care. It doesn't bother me that much. But they could have had these pieces hinge up to be a little more proper in line with this. And something to mention about this, like I said, a bunch of parts pop off this. So if you wanted to pop off that part for some reason, and that part, where'd the other one even go? Oh, it fell off over here. This is really loose on one side. It's tighter on this side, but it loves to pop off this side. But I don't like the plastic that the red is made out of. It's just, the joints are really finicky because of it. It's like, I don't know, it's not rubber, but it's rubberized, kinda. I don't even know what kind of plastic they used. It's just kind of strange. I know this part's hard plastic, but the rest of it is rubbery kind of material. Even the head pops off, so you can make this guy like none of this on there. Does this side even pop off, or is this side just that tight? I guess this side is just that tight, or one side pops off and one side doesn't. That's strange. But that's what he looks like with his stuff off next to him. That's a nice blue. This is one of my favorite color blues that they used on this. But yeah, I guess let's transform up Kingdom Cheetor. This one doesn't transform, so there's nothing to really compare there. Should I do it? Should I transform it? This isn't live. You can't actually tell me. But this guy stands, I think, even worse than this. So it's turned out to be a little more negative than I thought. You know, when these guys were just standing on the shelf, I was like, they stand fine. But I get to do in a review, and they cannot stand at all. They cannot stand. Neither of these stand. That files off again. So yeah, there's the comparison of those two. If you just wait for the Netflix one if you want more Beast War colors on him. And this guy, I mean, he doesn't really fit in with the Kingdom unless you don't care about him being as tall as Optimus Primal. Now, if you had the big Transmetal like Beast Wars Optimus, that would probably look fine, which I used to have that and I really want it again. I knew that was going to happen again. He was going to fall again. He was going to fall again. Even if you hold his feet on the ground, he will he'll find a way to hinge back just because his hinges suck. Like, you just see barely any force on those. They just suck. And these is just that these joints are a little loose on mine, but even if they weren't, those feet are so tiny for the weight distribution of the backpack with the legs. It just doesn't want to do it. But I meant to do versus and articulation of these. I'm gonna have to edit this damn video together anyway. So he has a swivel at the bicep, this at the shoulder, up and down, and a swivel at the shoulder. So you have so many swivels in that area that you don't even need, to be honest. And then you have kind of a butterfly back and forth for that. So very articulated arms. The elbow goes. You got the wrist swivel, but it has that kibbly bit on it. I guess you can use the kibbly bit to swivel it, but other than that, it's kind of annoying. The legs, they have the splits if you kind of force it. Mine are a little tight there, but you got that. You got a swivel right there, the knee bend, and then the ankle tilt. And then this actually has less articulated arms. It doesn't have the butterfly joint, but it has the swivel there, swivel there. It's honestly tighter up here. Like, this tightness needs to be down in the leg joints. That's really what needs to be. And then the elbow. I feel like this gummy, rubbery plastic is really going to break over time. Like, that stuff doesn't age the best. So this one's definitely going to age better since it's all actual plastic. But he's got a thigh swivel. Does this kind of, it has like a lower thigh swivel closer to the knee. But articulation, it's very much the same basically, except this has the butterfly joint in it. And this, does it have ankle tilt? Yeah, it also has the ankle tilt in there. So there's my comparison of these two. Which one should you go with? I mean, if you're just collecting non-transforming figures, or you just want Cheetor, this does look more accurate. It does. But it, of course, doesn't transform, you know. So that's a little lame. I got Kingdom Cheetor transformed up into his beast mode. Now, that doesn't look too bad. Like, this still looks like it could transform into this if you wanted one of each and maybe to display it kind of like that. That doesn't look too bad. Like, this in size kind of fits up more in beast mode with that. It's kind of crazy how a deluxe, it felt smaller in robot mode than it does in beast mode. Now, that doesn't look too bad next to that. I do kind of wish that the neck could hinge up a little bit so you could give it a little more of a look with the head up. But it is nice that they worked in the mouth movement. I mean, he talks more in the show, so I guess the mouth movement is more important than the neck moving. So that worked out. But this doesn't transform, so there's not really a comparison for this part. You know, it's just kind of talking about what they could have handled a little bit better on this. Maybe this transformed slightly differently. I don't think I have that transformed wrong. His hands are just visible, kinda. I guess you could plug in the 3D printed gun under there if you wanted to. I guess I'll have an underbelly gun. But yeah, that'll work for weapon storage. I don't know anyone who actually uses weapon storage. But you can do that if you pick up this 3D printed piece. And like I said, if you want these 3D printed things, anything I show in my videos, just drop a comment, tell me if you're interested, or just check out my Mercari page and message me on any of my listings, and I could get a listing set up specifically for you to purchase whichever one. And I try to price everything fairly. I just wish these apps didn't take such a big cut of the money, because then I'd be able to price things even more fairly. This falls off so much. That is such a negative for me. It's probably just a little bit of a quality thing there, but I just might glue that on. That's really annoying that falls off any slight bump, and the wrists are kind of loose on that. Oh, that's something I forgot to mention in articulation. His hands are kind of on a hinging ball joint, so I guess you do gain that articulation in the hands rather than what's on the Kingdom Cheetor. So I guess that's the bump. He doesn't have the butterfly shoulders, but he doesn't have the wrist articulation of this guy. So I guess that's a 1 point up on that. But it still kind of evens out because he doesn't have the butterfly shoulder. So there you go. There's that. If you're new, watch other videos. Decide if you want to subscribe. If you're already subscribed, thank you very much. And I will be having a Kingdom overview once I get Wave 2. I'll probably do Is Kingdom Worth It Wave 1 and 2. That's the plan. I just really... The stores here have only stocked like 2 Wave 2 figures, and then they're sold out the day of. And I even go there the day of, and they're already gone. So, yeah, that's my luck right now. But have a great one. Peace. Bye-bye.